with Northwest Chrome, going over the best bobber dogging setup. So bobber dogging is it's a pretty versatile setup where you can fish a bead under it, you can fish a pink worm, you can fish eggs, a yarny, and really the main benefit to bobber dogging is that as your float is going down river, it's dragging this weight off the bottom. So this bobber is going to be laying flat and your weight is going to be on the bottom, and that flat bobber creates a surface tension to where it's pulling the weight so it's not getting stuck on the rocks. I think it's a really efficient, effective way of covering water. We did a bead video a couple years ago where I went over a bead setup, but after I started bobber dogging, this is the main way that I fish beads. It's really effective, and yeah, I'll go over some of the parts and kind of how I do it. So start off with a braid here. So I've got 50 pound, I think this is Power Pro Super Slick. I know 50 pounds sounds like it's overkill, but we're tapering the lines here. So we're going from 50 pound down to a bumper that's 25 pound down to a leader that's 15 pounds. So you just want to make sure that your lines are tapered correctly so you're not breaking off, you know, if you get snagged up, you're not breaking off the braid. You want to break off the lowest line. So anyways, I've got the 50 pound braid. I've got a uni to uni knot, which is tying in my 25 pound mono bumper. There's a lot of good videos out there showing how to tie one of these uni to uni knots. They're a little bit of a pain, but yeah, there's a lot of good videos. You can kind of figure it out. But the 25 pound mono bumper, the purpose of that is it basically enables your bobber to slide more freely up and down the line. So when you have braid, it takes a while for the bobber to slide up and down, and the mono just gets it so, you know, as soon as your weight is on the bottom, your bobber is sliding all the way to the top. It's going to get you to sink quicker. In addition to that, I think the mono bumper is, it doesn't put that, you know, bright yellow high vis braid right in the water, right in front of the fish. It's a little stealthier, and yeah, I mean, I've caught fish without the mono bumper. It's not a necessity, but I want the best possible setup. If it takes an extra 10 minutes, then it's probably worth it. So yeah, I've got 15 feet of the mono bumper. You really want about as much mono bumper as is the deepest hole that you're going to be fishing. So if you're going to be, you know, fishing a small river pretty consistently and the deepest hole you might fish is 6 feet, then you don't need 15 feet. But you know, on the rivers that I fish, the deepest spot I would ever fish would be about 15 feet. So that's what I stick with. You probably get away with less. It's a little bit simpler if you have less mono bumper out there. But just do whatever you feel is right, whatever you think is going to be the deepest spot that you're fishing. So on the mono bumper, I've got a couple bobber stops here. You guys probably know how to set up those. Down to small bead, big bead, and then the bobber itself. So there's a lot of different floats out there for bobber dogging. I see some of these great big, like, you know, 6-inch bobber dogging bobbers, and I really like the short, compact ones. I like them because even if you're, you know, fishing a spot that's 10 feet deep and your setup, you know, your bobber stop is 8 feet, it's not going to be, you know, dancing around like the huge bobbers would. It's just going to sit upright for a little bit, and it's not going to be a visual distraction quite so much. So I think there's a few different manufacturers who make a good one. I think Fish Float makes a good one. And this is an Arrow float. This is just my preference. So doesn't have to be Arrow float, but I would definitely recommend getting one of these short, stocky bobbers. So got that down to a couple more beads on the bottom, and that's basically to prevent the bobber from slamming down into this barrel swivel. And so I don't know if you guys can see this, but I've got a setup here that's holding my my weight, where I've got a barrel swivel on top down to a split ring. and another barrel swivel at the bottom. And then I've got this Dave's Tangle Free weight on here. I believe this is a 1/3 ounce sinker. Basically the reason for this is it's gonna keep you from getting tangled quite so much. So you see some of these, you know, these dropper attachments, you see like the kind of the snap swivels, and you can use those, but I find that this gets tangled a lot less than anything else. So yeah, I mean, you can bobber dog with other types of weights. You can use you know, pencil lead or you know, slinky weights, but I find the Dave's Tangle Free is weighted really nicely, so they're sinking at a good rate. They're not going to just drop like a rock to the bottom and get you snagged up, but they're going to sink at a kind of a consistent rate, a predictable rate. And as the name would imply, Dave's Tangle Free, they really, I never get tangled with this setup. So, you know, the weight is on a swivel, and then these barrels swivels, they can move around the split ring. So the whole thing is really set up so it's not getting tangled as frequently. Moving on down, I've got a bead rig here. So I've got, I believe this is about 3.5 feet of fluorocarbon leader. I believe this is 15 pound, down to a bead. And like I said, you can fish pink worm on this setup. You can fish, you know, eggs or yarny, but bead is really what I like. I think it has a good sink rate and is going to keep you in the zone longer than other techniques. We do have another bead video if you guys want to go watch it, and it'll kind of show you how to set up this bead, where you peg it, and you know, tie the appropriate knot to the hook. But anyways, guys, I think this setup is really effective. Like I said, that bobber is going to drag your weight off the bottom. It's going to keep you in the zone longer than I think any other technique, unlike drift fishing or, you know, spinner fishing. But I would say, especially compared to like drift fishing is, you know, it's tethered to the angler, whereas a bobber, you know, it can float as long as, you know, however much line you have on your reel. So you can fish this in any type of water, you know, fast water, slow water, you know, big deep pools, or, you know, flats, anything you want. So anyways, guys, all right, guys, that's been it. Thanks for watching. I've got a lot of other great videos for you, and we're going to try to work on getting you some more videos this winter. You know, the response has been great to our videos so far, and really appreciate you watching. So thanks again.